Thomas Paul Conover, a Texas participant in the events of January 6th, goes on trial this week for 2 misdemeanor counts, one for entering a restricted building and another for disorderly conduct. But the real charge should be failure to take a decent selfie with a craft beer and the flagrant abuse of the term beer when referring to Coors Light. The mastermind behind the Jesse Smollett assault was found guilty this week, and unfortunately for Smollett, he'll be sharing a prison cell with this mastermind. Game developer Joseph Fares, known for cursing at the Game Awards, doesn't disappoint in this water is wet story by dropping a couple F-bombs during his speech. And I've got some big news to share on tonight's show. We'll cover some of that, none of that, and most likely nothing substantive tonight. I'm your host, Blue Shark 45, and this is a G.N.A. podcast. Hail, salutations, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the G.N.A. podcast. I'm your host, Blue Shark 45, and once again, I am joined by one man, a reliable man, a bearded man, at least I think.
A man that you can't see because
yes.
I never turned on my video.
Yes, Deckard Cain did not turn on. And that's right, folks. Cecil's not here. I've got Deckard Cain. He's going to be here through the entire show. You're not going to hear Cecil's voice whatsoever. No, I'm kidding. Yeah,
that's horse crap.
How you doing tonight, Cecil?
Good, man. I'm good. Tired, but good.
That just means you worked hard this week. Or you didn't sleep well. One or the other.
What about you, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. It's a little somber, a little sad, a little bittersweet. But let's talk about good things for right now.
Yeah, I like good things. Let's talk about good things.
So let's, ladies and gentlemen, this is G.N.A. podcast, games, nerds, and alcohol, where we get drunk and we talk about stuff. So let's get into what we're drinking. Cecil, what are you partaking in tonight?
Well, I am totally lame, just like I did on my false start earlier. I am not drinking anything because I've got to wake up early and drive to Baltimore. So I am partaking in diddly bupkis. Nada.
Well, I'm compensating for your lack of drinking and you being responsible and everything. I am, ladies and gentlemen, something you've never heard of before on this show. I'm drinking a new drink tonight.
Oh, please tell me it's not Blue Moon.
It is Blue Moon. Moon Haze, the juicy pale ale. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Blue Moon, but it's a little different. So it's a take on Juicy Haze or Voodoo Haze or any sort of hazy, juicy IPA name that you've ever heard of, but it's made by Blue Moon. And I have to say, I'm on my second one, and it's not too bad.
Well, not too bad. It's not too good.
Yeah, it's... What's it called? Voodoo Ranger Juicy Haze.
Mm-hmm.
Lot smoother. This has a little bit of a bitter taste at the start. I think I've gotten used to it after like the first like 2 or 3 sips. Don't have an IBU on it. 5.7 alcohol by volume.
It's not too shabby.
Still, say what now?
It's not too shabby.
No. It's still got the oranges, still got wheat. So I would say they hung on to the whole wit beer base, and then they just try to turn it into an IPA, a hazy IPA. It definitely has a citrus into it, but I'm not a huge fan of that bitter like start to it. It goes away rather quickly, but I feel like it kind of distracts from the overall enjoyment of it.
Okay.
But I wanted a Blue Moon for tonight, and I figured I'd try something a little bit different than a regular old Blue Moon.
Well, that's mighty whitey.
Mighty what of me? What did you call me?
Dude, I have seen you. You are the whitest white boy I have ever met.
I am.
You're in Florida, too, which... I can't figure that one out.
Really pale. Really pale. I don't know what it is, because there's like a complete 360 from my childhood, my appearance, to now. So my childhood, blonde hair or brown hair, from what I remember. I had blonde hair from going to the pool too much when I was really little, but light brown hair. It's out in the sun, out in the pool, tan skin. And my sister was always jealous of me that I was able to tan easier than she did. And now we've completely switched roles. She tans. I guess she maintains all of that. I don't. I get farmer's tans. I don't spend as much time outdoors anymore. And when I do, I cover up and I put sunscreen on. So, yeah. I am one pale son of a gun with dark hair, and all I need is an all black outfit and eyeliner, and you can call me emo.
I don't have to wait that long. I mean, I could just go straight forward if I really wanted to.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's also get into some other good stuff. State of Games, where we talk about what we've been playing, what we think about what we've been playing, or as Cecil likes to say, pontificate on the state of games. So, Cecil, what's your state of games?
Well, my state of games has been pretty chill, to be honest. I started up a new job, so I haven't really had a lot of time on my hands. However, I have been playing some Destiny 2. The new 30th anniversary content dropped, so I've been playing a bit of that, which it's been pretty good. They brought Galahorn back, which is, they brought a lot of weapons back, actually. 1,000-Yard Stare, Galahorn. They brought back
No Land Beyond?
Luna. You know what? They haven't brought back No Land Beyond, but they do have Dead Man's Tale, which is kind of like it's like a short range. No Man's Beyond. It's a scout rifle, but it's iron sights, and it hits like a freight train. Pretty decent weapon. If you haven't gotten it, it's you run. Oh god, I believe it's Presage to get it. I think you have to have season 13, maybe it's season of Splicer. It's either 13 or 14. It's one of those seasons back there. But that gives you access into Dead Man's Tale, which again, good weapon. But they brought back Galahorn or however the hell you want to call it. That's the solar rocket launcher that when it fires off Wolfpack rounds. So basically it hits and detonates, and then it launches off some seeker missiles that just wrecks house on whatever the hell comes up. It's pretty good. It's pretty fun. The new dungeon is pretty entertaining as well. It's I forget exactly what it's called. Something. AOG is its abbreviation.
Is that like a Prison of Elders kind of dungeon?
Yeah, it's kind of like a 3-man kind of mini raid. A lot of them can be soloed very easily. They're just, it's just solo. It's just like soloing anything else. It just takes time. There's been several dungeons. One of the Dreaming City, the Shattered Throne. There's the Prophecy dungeon that's out still, and then this newest one. The fun part about this newest one is, did you play Destiny 1 at all? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I played Destiny 1. I played a lot of. I'd have to say it wasn't until they came out with Destiny 2, I guess. The Red War, after that, I kind of dropped off for me.
Well, were you there back at the beginning when Destiny dropped, or did you jump in after Taken King or something?
I was in there for I think they announced Destiny, and then I consumed whatever information existed, and then 3 or 4 months down the road, I heard about betas coming out, pre-ordered. I listened to Guardian Radio and Warlock School. I was in this game.
Okay. So you remember the loot cave then?
Oh, yeah.
So the actual new dungeon uses the loot cave as an entrance. And it actually uses it in a very humorous and funny way. In fact, they use the same dynamic, the same mechanic, I'll say, throughout the entire dungeon. And what it is you stand there, a bunch of ads spawn in the loot cave, and they drop engrams, but they're not engrams that you can use. They give you something called Burden of Wealth. And if you have Burden of Wealth for longer than 30 seconds, you end up dying. It just kills you. But you have to get this Burden of Wealth and deposit it at a crystal. And once you deposit this crystal inside the loot cave, it'll actually open up underneath the loot cave and allow you to continue on with the rest of the dungeon. It's a very humorous and funny way that it uses the loot cave. It's kind of tongue in cheek. In fact, this whole 30th anniversary content is kind of tongue in cheek. If you remember Xur, the Agent of the Nine, he's in it, and he's got a new 6-player. It's kind of God, what the hell is it called? It was a version of Gambit, like Gambit Requiem or something like that. And it's basically that you play roulette of enemies that are going to spawn. You go and you kill specific enemies, and the entire time Xur is giving a kind of an announcer from a game show point of view. There's a stellar horse. It kind of looks like a cross between Nightmare and Black Beauty. It's very humorous. It's very tongue in cheek. It pokes fun at not only himself but the Agents of the Nine, and it's entertaining. It's kind of all around fun. The drawback, of course, is that there's now new currency to deal with, new weapons to track down and get. Which one of those weapons is Ias Luna. And if you have ever heard me complain anything about Destiny 1, my one big gripe was that I never got my god roll Ias Luna before I stopped playing Destiny. So now I get another opportunity, and sure as hell, guess what? I'm playing with a guy that I know from my work, or from my old work. His name is Crimson Elk, or Mike, and I don't know how he wants to go by, but we go in there, first drop, he gets an Ias Luna. What's he get? It's rangefinder, kill clip with a range masterwork on it. I'm just like, you son of a... And he's been rubbing that in my face pretty much the entire time. However, in his defense, he never has anything to rub in my face, because when we were trying to go get him Vex Mythic last, I actually got it dropped for me instead. When we went to go get him 1,000 Voices, literally the last time we went and ran it, I had 2 1Ks dropped for me, and he had none. So... that he got the Ias Luna, he actually deserves that, because, yeah, he's been getting crap drops. RM Jesus has not been good to him. But other than that, I have been playing some Graveyard Keeper. Actually, I've got it fired up right now. I'm just starting up some of the new content on it. And Graveyard Keeper is just a fun game. It's entertaining. It's I don't know. It's kind of, it's Stardew Valley, but it's not. It's Stardew Valley, but you chop up corpses and package the meat and send it off to the local inn. They've added some new content to it, which is why I jumped on. You can now have a tavern. You build a barn. There's so much more content now. There's just so much to do, and I'm kind of ticked at myself because I've been playing this on my Switch, and my one big gripe about the Switch is just its performance on the Switch. It's just garbage. It does not play well on the Switch whatsoever. Yep, plugged in, docked or not, it just does not play well. And I'm here on my computer, and it's just running so crisp and so smooth. There's no stuttering, there's no lag, there's no jittering. It just plays so nice. And I'm so upset because I should have been playing it on my computer versus my Switch, but I've just wanted to have something to play, and my Switch was portable. Once that Steam Deck comes out, though, I'll be switching right back over to this.
You think the Steam Deck's going to be the better handheld?
For me, probably 100%. I have way more games on Steam and PC than I ever will on Switch. So just for me, it's going to be a significant boon. Even if you take, out of all the games that I have, even if you only take the ones that are remote play friendly, not even controller friendly, but just remote play friendly, there are way more that I have there than I'll ever have on Switch. So I definitely think it's going to be a great thing for me. I'm backing it all the way. I'm just anxiously awaiting it to show up. As soon as it does, I'll probably be playing the hell out of it. What about you, though, man? What's your state of games?
So, Pokemon Go, Season of the Heritage. So, we talked about this last week. I'm on step 15 of the Season of Heritage Stardust Challenge. I got like 1,500 Stardust of 20,000 that I need. But, you get the dailies and you blow through the stuff. I blew through this pretty quick. So they had something called the Dragon Spiral Descent Collection Challenge that they started. When did they start that? Like a day after the Stardust Challenge dropped. And it was collecting, let's see here, 10 different Pokemon. And I had 9 of 10 on Wednesday.
Oof.
And I was doing pretty darn good, and it doesn't expire till the 12th.
Nice.
So I was doing pretty good, and then one of them pops up, and I go, oh, I need this guy, the 10th guy. Throw the Pokeball with a spin, get a great, breaks out. I'm like, all right, whatever. And I throw a different higher grade Pokeball. Breaks out of that one. Well, this is getting annoying. Throw a candy at him, or a berry, spin it, great throw, breaks out of it, and after like the first shake, and I'm like, what the hell? And then he runs, and it's that Dragonfly version of Trapinch, like the second evolution Vibra or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he is the hardest one to find. Could not find him. Meanwhile, Dragonair is popping up left and right, the other hard one to find. And I'm like, son of a gun. I can't find them. For the life of me, I cannot find them. And I kept looking. So I had my phone, like, checking that throughout the day yesterday. And then I was checking at work today randomly, and I saw it. And it was down the road. So I left work for 10 minutes. And I got that taken care of. I made up the time. I did the responsible thing. I just, I took 10 minutes out of my day wasn't like that pressed or that busy. So I got that done, which was great. I got a whole bunch of Stardust from that. And I got this new dragon Pokemon, Drudgeon, or something like that.
Okay.
He's like he looks like a prehistoric dragon. He's pretty cool. Apparently he goes after Diglets or something like that. Goes in their holes and waits for them to come, and then he attacks them. So, interesting. So I got that taken care of, and I was pretty happy about that. So I've Pokemon Go has been getting a lot of my time and attention, but I'm proud to say that I still have only dropped $10 on the game in total.
Well,
I've been playing for years at this point. Like I try to avoid giving them any money. And then before we started, while I was waiting for my darn PC to restart, I started getting into Halo Infinite. I'd played multiplayer tutorial last weekend prior.
Okay.
And then now the campaign's out, so I just started getting into that. I'm not even an hour into it, so pretty still new and interesting. I don't know what they've done. I know originally they were teasing the you get on the ring and it's open world run around. We'll see. Haven't gotten to that part yet, if that part still exists. So I saw something on Twitter today that reminded me that Halo's out, because I've been busy. And I want to get into it, and so I'm going to get into it, and we'll play the campaign, and I'm sure I'll do some multiplayer. Maybe, I don't know if they have it, but I know the Spartan Ops, that kind of stuff was really cool. And then they had something else where it was like Warzone mob kind of thing. You have to go after like bosses and a bunch of ads stuff. I think it was called Warzone.
Well, I know there's a Call of Duty Warzone.
Well, there was I think it was a Warzone was the game mode for Halo 5.
All right.
And that was enjoyable. I remember playing that with Stainsby. I mostly played that with Stainsby when he would stream for some charity. It was always fun and entertaining. But yeah, so that's my state of games. Now let's get into an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my last podcast. Now, this isn't my last podcast ever. I'm sure I'll come on in the future randomly at times. But as Cecil knows, this is my last podcast is one of the G.N.A crew members. So stepping away from administration, the social media stuff, helping with editing, and then being on here every other week. I know I've been pulling back on that because of personal things going on in my life, making sure my wife's happy. Because if she's happy, then, our marriage is happy and healthy. But it's gotten to a point where I need to focus on my marriage some more. I need to focus on my career. There's some moves that I want to make in my career, and I feel like I can't dedicate the amount of time that I want to this show. Like I don't like it when I just hop on and I haven't done anything all week. Like I haven't read any news, I haven't played any games, and I'm just in the dark about everything. And the only thing I can sit here and talk about is politics, because that's the only thing I listen to during the day, or some random audiobook about history or some other thing. And it's just like, I feel like that's a crap preparation, and I feel like it's not my best performance. So I don't feel like I have the time all the time, because my wife, my family, and my career need my time and attention as well. So I'm going to step away, come in when I got the time, add something to the show when I'm here, and hopefully Cecil can find someone who will replace me and be just as good, if not, hopefully someone will be better than me, because quite frankly, you guys deserve better, and I'm horrible, and I don't know why y'all listen to this show. But hopefully things will work out. Help out with Cecil with like the edits and stuff, so we can keep this show running, because it's always fun to come on here and talk with friends and stuff, shoot the shit, so to speak. So I'm going to step away, and I'm also stepping away. Not that there's anything wrong with our marriage, but I'm mostly stepping away to focus on spending more time with my wife and making sure she's happy, because we are expecting our son here this spring. So this is our first child, and we're really excited about it. And I'm looking at an ultrasound photo of him right now, and I'm just thrilled. I'm actually a man. I got it done first time. We got a son. Doing better than what's that? King Henry, the 6th, the 5th, the 14th. I don't know, remember British history, but doing better than King Henry. Can make a son on my first try. So we're really excited about that. We're starting to get stuff together for him, and buying furniture, looking at what we're gonna do with the house, how we're rearranging. We got a whole bunch of stuff behind me we got to go through and get rid of, because we got to make room for him. So until he gets here, I want to spend more of my weekends with my wife, making sure that she and I have that time together, and just strengthening our love and our relationship together. And I hope that everyone who's been listening to this show has enjoyed it thus far and will continue to enjoy it. And I hope you, Cecil, will be able to continue doing this. And I hope you will be able to find some people who can help out. And then who knows, maybe in the future, once the baby's here and we've gotten settled, I'll have a better idea of what I can do, and maybe I can contribute in some small way, maybe not as much as I was before, but maybe like I can focus on one thing and help to keep making this show great. Because I know that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed about this podcast is when you and I took over this as a temporary thing. Like, we had ideas and we were trying to make it really good, and until I think in all honesty, until Brittany came along, like I had all this free time, because when you're a single man, you have all this time to focus on stuff. So I know I felt like I was going ham in the beginning, and then like life kind of got in the way. More responsibilities at work, and trying to maintain a long distance relationship, and all this other stuff kind of got in the way. But I hope that that momentum, maybe like we've lost some of it, but I hope that you're able to find someone to help you continue carrying that momentum forward. And I hope all of you continue to listen to this show. I hope you all continue to share this show and to send stuff to us. And maybe one of these days, we've only been doing this for 5 years now, Cecil. Maybe one of these days we'll actually get an email.
I doubt that.
Do too. But, I'm not going to sign off right now, guys. We're going to get into some other stuff on this show, but I just kind of wanted to throw that in there, and I'll save the tearful goodbye for the very end. But let's get into some topics. So I want to know, random question. I never got anyone to reply to this one, but I want to talk about gifts. Christmas is coming up along, here in 15 days. And I was thinking back to gifts that I've gotten. So Cecil, I've thought about like what I got as a kid. I remember there's a play school train set that I love, and it became once I got it, that became the Christmas decoration. Like, it was under the tree every year, and I made the loop. Like, it could make a figure 8 track, and it could do other things. I remember running it off the couch a few times, but it also had this had enough pieces that I can make a circle, and we'd go around the tree skirt, and we'd run around the Christmas tree, and we'd have all the presents under there. It was just, I don't know, just picturesque, perfect Christmas right there. So that was like a really great gift. But then I started thinking about like getting older, and as you get older, sometimes your priorities change. Sometimes it's like, what do you want for Christmas? And you're like, I don't know what I want for Christmas, but I could use some socks or something like that. So I was thinking about some of the gifts I've gotten over the past few years, and they seem kind of lame. So a vacuum cleaner. I got a vacuum cleaner for Christmas one year. I was moving out of an apartment that I had been living in with one of my friends for a few years. He was moving he was going to move back down to where I used to live down in Tampa. And so I had to get my own place, which means I needed a few things. So I needed like a vacuum cleaner because I got rid of my vacuum cleaners when I moved here because he had one that was better. And, we had dogs in the apartment, and the better one was better at getting the dog hair up. So I really loved this Dyson vacuum cleaner. So I asked for that for Christmas one year. And that's a pretty lame gift, but in my opinion, one of the best gifts I've gotten. Like, it's useful, it's handy, and it was gonna, it comes in handy, helps keeps the house clean. So I want to know, Cecil, what kind of lame gift, like gift that you wanted for Christmas, that you asked for, that you got, that seems kind of lame to someone else, but is like a really good gift in your mind? Do you have anything like that, or am I just the only weird one in this group?
So the trouble is, I don't actually ask for anything for Christmas. I'm a bit of a hoarder, so if I ask for anything, so I guess I do go lame, because if I ask for anything, I ask for something consumable. Because if it's not something that I can use, I just don't want it laying around and just basically cluttering things up. So I'll ask for, car parts, or just things that I can consume. One year I had asked, my uncle had died in November, so I literally took he had an '03 Impala that, just the whole braking system on it was just destroyed. So I asked for rotors and brakes for Christmas for it. So that's what I got. And then came that January, I went outside and I put them on. And I found that as I'm tearing it all apart, realizing that it's not just brakes and rotors, it actually went back to calipers and brake lines. And, so I basically took any money that I got for Christmas, and I'm in a junkyard pulling out calipers to put on an '03 Impala so I could just bring the thing back to life and drive. I think that qualifies as pretty lame for gifts.
But you enjoyed that gift, right?
Enjoy is a loose term.
Okay.
I needed it to put a vehicle back together. It was a pain in the ass to put everything back together because, well, it was literally putting a car back together that was not taken care of whatsoever. So it's a huge pain in the ass. But I did enjoy getting them, and then, kind of at the end of it all, looking at it going, yeah, I did this. I put this thing back together. It drives now. It's actually road legal.
Nice. Man, that's a good feeling. Yeah, I got two more. I really liked my buddy that I was living with. He had a Santoku knife. So it's the Japanese chef knife. Mm-hmm. So it's like a chef's knife, for those of you who don't know. And instead of having that point at the end, it kind of comes to this. The blade runs along, and then it starts to curve up, and then it has the top kind of comes down, and as it curves up, they meet, and you get this point. It's good for getting in there and doing certain things like removing meat off of bones and stuff like that, or other like, delicate work that you need to do, but you don't want to grab another knife for. Santoku is a Japanese version of a chef's knife, but it doesn't have a point. So instead, it's mostly just not flat blade. It's a level blade that's canters a little bit up at the end, but it's that point noses down. So you don't have that ability to do a lot of stuff that you can do with a chef's knife. But I find that, like, I liked the I don't know what else to call them, but dimples that are along the blade. I feel like it made it...
From where it's hammered? Is that what those are the dimples you're talking about?
No, it doesn't... they're like deliberate. They're like... I don't know. They're almost like they've carved pieces out of the steel. More than anything. But it made it so that I felt like that air, those little gaps, made things stick less to the blade when I was cutting. Like, I feel like with a chef's knife, I feel like I'm carrying, like, as I'm slicing, like, vegetables, like zucchini, squash, something like that, or onions, I feel like it just sticks to the chef's knife, and it only comes off as I slice the next piece, and it gets pushed off, and it goes wherever on the cutting board. The Santoku, I feel like I can slice things, and I can hold an onion together all sliced up, and it won't stick to the blade. It just kind of stays off. So it was really great. And I love cooking, so I really enjoyed having that knife when I asked for it for Christmas. I asked for a nice one that matched the set that I already have, made by the same company, and I just used the crud out of that thing, and it's great. When I make jerky, that's my knife. I go to knife. I've got a sharpener that's specifically made for sharpening something with that narrow of a blade, or that shallow of an angle for the blade. So I think it's like 15 degrees, and like British and American blades are like 20 degrees or something along those lines. But I really liked that one. And then more recently, I had an old leather holster for my firearm, and it had a plastic hook for clamping it to my belt or my waist. And I had gotten into a car accident, and a piece of that had broken off. And it was kind of just a piece that helps you, it helps you to pull the piece of plastic away a little bit so you can take it off the belt a little bit easier. That broke in a car accident, but for years it was still working fine. I had no problems with it. Well, Thanksgiving gets here, my wife's sitting on the couch, and I'm sitting next to her, and I get up because I'm not at my home, so I have my firearm on me, and I go and I use the restroom, and then when I come back, I go to sit on the couch, but she had scooted in a little bit, so when I sat down, the plastic caught on the side of the couch, and it sheared it off, so it broke it. I was just like, ah. And she like looks at it and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, honey." And she's like, "It feels like that was my fault." And I was like, "Nah, stuff happens." And she's like, "Well, you can always ask for one for Christmas." And I say, "Well, I need one sooner than Christmas." So she's like, "Okay." So we go out shopping the next day for other things. And I tell her, I want to go to the gun store. So we go to the gun store, and I'm thinking about buying another one of these leather holsters. Nothing fancy. I know a lot of my friends, they like swear up and down about these molded holsters, and they're like, they specifically made for a gun. So they take the gun, and like, so let's say like it's a Glock, take Glock 19 or something like that, and they specifically take a Glock 19 and they mold the plastic to it, so it captures all the grooves and everything on the Glock 19, and it fits it, so it reduces the amount of excess material you have forms to it perfectly, and it's got screws that take these two pieces of plastic, and you can tighten it and loosen it so you can get the desired resistance to when you need to pull it out of the holster. So I'm looking, and they have these formed ones, and that's all they've got. So I'm looking for mine, and the gun store owner comes over to me, and I tell him what I'm looking for. I'm telling him I need it for inside the waistband, this side, and he's like, I got one. He's looking. He's like, here you go. He's like, you want to try it out? I was like, sure. And he gives me one of the guns from the case because I didn't have mine on me, and he lets me try it out, and I'm like, ooh, I like this, and I love that darn thing. Like, I have to actually tell myself, like, no, Sean, like, this is my new toy. That's just, it's a simplistic way of looking at gifts for me. Like, that's my new toy. And, like, I'm really excited about it. I really love it. And I love it that my wife bought this for me. And, like, it makes me really happy that she did that for me. And it's like simple things like that, I guess, you know, like they're lame. It's a lame gift. Wow, you got like a holster for Christmas, Sean? Like, you know, like 5-year-old me would be looking at you like, that's kind of lame. The gun's cool, but the holster's kind of stupid. But yeah, if you guys got any lame Christmas gifts, it's not Christmas yet, you can always email us at G.N.A podcast at G.N.A in your DNA.1. We'd love to hear about that. You got any others?
Just trying to think of just gifts I've gotten over this. I mean, I get coal every year, but that's just a running
Seriously?
joke. Yeah, it's just a running joke for my wife.
Nice.
At one point in time, I was, before I started venturing down this, working on my career path and, you know, ruining the rest of my life, I actually wanted to learn blacksmithing. But I just, you know, so getting coal every year was kind of like, oh, cool. Hey, I'll take that. I'll use that to, you know, learn how to blacksmith eventually. But I've just done so much damage to all of my joints that swinging a hammer is not something that's going to be in my future anytime soon. So yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, I don't know. As I said, I don't ask for much. I don't really ask for anything. And when I do ask for something, it's typically because I want to get it for somebody else type of thing. Like I got something this year it actually wasn't for me whatsoever. It was actually for my wife. Somebody asked me, well, what do you want? I said, well, get me this. They said, what are you going to do with that? I was like, I'll figure it out.
So your friend got you a Victoria's Secret gift card.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I just I'm super simple. Like I don't really want much. In fact, I don't really want anything. So when it comes to Christmas, I mean, I've never really had a great Christmas experience. So I usually just try to avoid it. You know, I'll just try to get stuff for the kid, make her as happy and enjoying as possible. Just let her have the fun with it. Let her enjoy being a kid. Just kind of that part just kind of pass it up for me. So I guess I don't really bother. Kind of bah humbuggish, but I mean, it's just one of those things of just not really my shtick. Is that weird?
I would say if you're bah humbugging and like not getting anyone anything for Christmas, then or like not wanting to put the tree up, not wanting to sing carols or songs or listen to them, yeah, that's bah humbug. But like wanting rather to give than receive, there ain't nothing bah humbug about that.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
To do that anyway.
I've been down that road before where I've just been like, I don't want to do a tree this year. I just don't want to deal with it. But I mean, now I'm just at the point of there's nothing I want. So it's like somebody says, "Hey, what do you want for Christmas?" I was like, nothing. There's nothing I want for Christmas. I mean, the things that I could possibly want are not things that I could tangibly get. So it's just one of those. It doesn't matter. So I'll continue on trucking. Maybe I can make somebody else happy.
Yeah, that's good. Well, let's continue down this holiday theme, and let's talk about some favorite holiday drinks. Now, personally, I don't have like any Christmas drinks, alcoholic wise, that are really Christmas, but I live in Florida, so Christmas is closer to fall, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you've actually seen. No, you finally saw snow, didn't you? You went to New York.
Yeah. On a random drive to go to a funeral, I finally got to see, touch, and feel snow. It was great, but for us here in Florida, Christmas can be 80 degrees. It can be 70. It'd be great if it's like 60 or 50 or 40. It just depends on where you're at in Florida and what the weather's doing that year. But one of my holiday drinks is actually just a very simple thing. It's apple cider and whiskey. And you can, if you do it warm, I like to heat up the apple cider, put a little cinnamon in it, and then add the whiskey. It's kind of like a hot toddy, but that's like my favorite kind of like this season kind of drink. Kind of gets me in the mood for it. But outside of that, eggnog is really good. I've tried eggnog and alcohol before, and it's never very great for me. But
okay, all right. Let's back this train up. Let's back this train up way far.
Okay.
First off, have you ever had misunderstood whiskey and eggnog?
Misunderstood.
It's ginger spiced whiskey.
I have not.
Okay. This is something that you need to try in your life before I die, because we got to talk about it.
Okay.
Eggnog, ginger spice whiskey by Misunderstood. I never in my life would have thought that it would have come together and work well, but holy hell does it work well. That and apple cider, ginger spice whiskey and apple cider. I actually think I like the whiskey, the eggnog with the whiskey more than I like the apple cider, just a personal preference. It's just yummy. Really brings out a lot of different flavors out of that eggnog. And because it's got like that spiciness to it, it almost feels like it almost tastes like it's almost an allspice versus a ginger spice. It's just really, really good, and they just marry so well together. I think when they were making that whiskey, they were like, yeah, you know what? I think this is going to go great in eggnog. And somebody else went, yeah, you know what? I think you're right. And then the rest is history, because it just turns out that good.
So what's your go-to eggnog? Like, do you have like a brand? Like, is it the store brand? Do you go with Gustav's?
Honestly, Stewart's brand eggnog. Stewart's brand out of New York. I don't like eggnog at all. Like, in general, I do not like eggnog. But Stewart's brand eggnog out of New York is actually the only one that I can drink without something in it. So, if you're asking me what eggnog to go to, run up to New York, go to Stewart's, grab a thing of eggnog there. It's the way to go.
Yeah, I was thinking about buying eggnog today, but then I was like, I don't know. My wife hasn't said anything about wanting it, so I'm like, I don't know if I should get it, because like the first few glasses are really good. Then after that, it's just really creamy, and it's just way too much for me. But
that's why you gotta mix the whiskey with it, man. Whiskey makes it happen.
Maybe I'll try to look into getting some whiskey.
By the time you get to the part where you're like, man, this is too creamy, you're like half a bottle in and you don't care. Like it doesn't matter anymore. They should deliver whiskey to your house. Ginger spice whiskey. Misunderstood ginger spice whiskey. I can't say them enough. I've probably bought, and I'm not kidding you right now, I've probably bought no less than 30 bottles from them in the last 2 years. That's how good this stuff is. Are you looking it up? Is that what's happening right now?
Sorry, I'm putting this down so I don't forget this. Do you ever drink this with anything else?
What, eggnog or ginger spice whiskey? Honestly,
yeah,
the stuff is great. The stuff is great straight. I've mixed it with apple cider, with eggnog. I've mixed it with. I tried it with Coca-Cola. It was okay with Coca-Cola. Not exactly something I just leap down and be like, man, you've got to try this. Eggnog, way better. Apple cider, pumpkin or pumpkin spiced apple cider. Yeah, it's really good on all those levels.
All right. Well, I will definitely look into that. Maybe not this year, but definitely before you die.
I was going to say,
give you,
you better look
65.
You better look into it this year because next year you're going to have a kid. You're not going to have time to drink. In fact, if you take an unscheduled and requested nap, you will get the hell eyes.
Well, I feel guilty about trying this kind of stuff without my wife being able to. Like, I was drinking. She made lasagna a few days ago, and we were eating lasagna last night. And I poured myself a glass of wine because, when you're eating Italian, it's really nice to have like wine with it. And I got this Vintner's Red. It's a blended wine. I've talked about it on the show before. And she really likes it. And she was looking at me pouring that glass of wine. She's like, I really like a glass of wine too. And I was like, sorry, hon. So I feel like if I go out and do this, because she likes cocktails. And I know she likes whiskey. So this would be kind of a little extra torture for her. And I don't know if I want to do that to her yet.
I mean, I'm okay with you doing that to her.
I know you are.
In fact, I fully support it. Not only do I support it, I'll fund it. Because I still have your address.
Yeah, you do. So if you guys got any like holiday drinks you want us to talk about or, suggestions, we'd love to hear them. You can tweet at us. You can email us. You can shoot us something in the Discord. We'd love to talk about more than this because right now this is all we got working with.
Hold on. You want more holiday drinks? I mean, I got those. I got those droves, man.
For let's specifically like Christmas ones, like.
Mm-hmm.
So give me one or two others that you got.
All right. So another great one is one that actually goes all around the year, but it's specifically great for this time of year because it's nutty. It's got creaminess to it. The Nutty Irishman. It's got that hazelnut hit to it, which makes it kind of a very Christmassy, nutty, creamy drink. And they're great because they're super smooth. You can drink like 80 billion of them and not feel it until you go to stand. And then wherever you're standing is now wherever you're falling. It just so happens that they are that good that you just can't stop drinking them.
So Cecil is showing me a onesie. It's gray. It has a black silhouette shark on it, and it says "baby" in the center of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am getting tortured with baby shark memes left and right.
Oh yeah, you are. Oh yeah, you are. Yeah, you can just assume that any conversation with me is going to have Baby Shark in it somewhere.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Yeah, if you thought that, like, did you actually think you were going to get out of that? Like, did you think that was a thing?
No, I didn't think so. No, I didn't think so. I was pretty sure there was going to be jokes that were going to be made about that.
Yeah, the only way that you were getting out of that would be if you somehow, some way, some form were able to actually hide from me the entire time that this kid was ever not only conceived, born, but this kid would have to be like 45. Because up until then, I would still be dropping Baby Shark memes on you. Like you can expect you'll get a phone call from me someday, and literally the only thing that will be in the background, whether you pick up or not, is going to be Baby Shark. That's it. I mean, I'm not only going to do that, I'm going to get like all of my teammates at where I'm working to continuously sing it into the phone with me. So it'll be like a choir of Baby Shark.
See, this is the problem with you working where you're working, because I can go on to the social media account and you can force the algorithm to display certain things. So just on my page alone.
I wish that I could do that. I am not able to do that, no matter how much I want to, and no matter how much I'll try to figure it out. I cannot do that. However, if I do figure it out, guaranteed, you are going to be the first person that I do that to. You'll be sitting there one day and going, wait a minute, this is really weird. I'm scrolling through my feed here and like everything is a Baby Shark onesie telling me to go buy Baby Shark Blu-rays, streaming Baby Shark. What the hell is this? And all of a sudden, you're just going to get a call from me. And you're going to hear, do, Baby Shark. And you're just going to be like, you mother...
Yeah, pretty much. I'm sure that I'm going to hear no end to that song.
Nope.
Oh, God.
Nope. You can try, but nope.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, well. I'll make sure the kid listens to something a little more classic, like Metallica.
Oh, no, dude. Yeah, Metallica, Avenged Sevenfold. First off, that kid better be able to identify Tom Sawyer by Rush before I meet them. Because if they can't, there is going to be words. And I'm telling you, that song is going to be playing on repeat until that kid is like, all right, dude, I get it. Tom Sawyer, Rush. Can we move on to something else? Yes. This is Manhattan Project by Rush.
So you were more of you were the big Rush fan in the group, because I dabbled into it. Mostly Ready Player One had me dabbling more, because Tom Sawyer, and then there was another song I forget.
Oh God, I think Limelight was in Ready Player One. That or Temple of Ceres.
Yeah. But anyhow, okay. So what do you have besides a Nutty Irishman? What's another Christmas drink that you can recommend?
So
to our
another great one, Captain Morgan's with eggnog as well. The spiciness out of Captain Morgan's goes really, really well with the eggnog. I've found that it goes like it nails it perfectly. I've also am a big fan of White Russians for Christmas.
Okay,
that's a weird one, I know.
All right, dude.
But I've always been a big fan of White Russians for Christmas. I don't normally have them because I don't normally have vodka. But you can't think of any other Christmas drinks?
I mean, whenever I think of Christmas, I think of peppermint. I think of gingerbread. So, like, your ginger whiskey and eggnog sounds like a win. The only other thing I can think of is a peppermint patty.
I can't believe I forgot this. Mulled wine. That is such an old school Yule log.
Okay, that's like spiced wine of some sort, right?
Yeah. It's you warm wine up, and you have like nutmeg and clove and cinnamon.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can add some honey to it if you'd like, but it's an old English drink. It's Jesus God, that thing is that's got to be like 1100. Like it's got to even go back farther than that, to be perfectly honest. It's an old drink. They used to call it the peasant's drink because it was, everybody could get a hold of wine, and it was just one of those. Yeah, how do you make wine better, or how do you make wine more festive? Because it's kind of, when you don't have a lot of money, it's really hard to, it's like when you're growing up. All right, when you're 21 and you want to go drinking with your friends, you don't care if you're drinking Stalingrad vodka when you're drinking with your friends at 21. Hell, you don't care if you're wearing the same shirt you were wearing the past 3 days in a row when you're 21. When you start to get older, pretty much, and you can start making a little bit more money, you're like, hey, you know what? I want to go for the Crystal Skull, or maybe the Grey Goose, or something along those lines, or maybe Belvedere. Going down that route. But you got to keep, like, forever ago, there weren't there were still spirits, but it wasn't, people of high class were the ones that got a hold of spirits. If you were peasants, you had like ale and mead, which is a honey wine. Yes. And you had wine. Well, you know how easy it is to make wine. You've made wine yourself.
Yeah, it's relatively simple.
Yeah, so it's something that's easy, something that anybody could really do. It's not something that involves, any form of stilling or anything like that. That's, when you have some more higher grade spirits where you got to get your hands on. I'm trying to remember. There was a really, really old. It was called Christmas Punch, and I'm trying to remember what was in it. And I just remember that it was either sparkling water or sparkling wine. It had a darker rum in it, but I want to say it also had like ginger ale in it or something. Maybe it had sparkling wine and ginger ale and dark rum. I just remember there being dark rum in it. And we you could do stuff like float ice cream in it and stuff like that. You could throw oranges or even grapes if you wanted to. Cranberries. Cranberries was a real common one.
Okay.
And you already mentioned that the Hot Toddy. That's a very, very common drink.
Yeah. Well, hot toddies, I guess I'll have any time of the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely forgot about mulled wine.
Yeah, man, mulled wine.
Mostly because I never do it. I don't make that stuff.
I have made mulled wine, and geez, I think the last time I made mulled wine, I was in Ballston Spa. Actually, I remember exactly when it was. It was 2007. It was Christmas 2007 in Ballston Spa. I was down, and not Christmas Day, obviously, but it was Christmas time. I want to say it was beginning of that month. Maybe it was the middle of that month. Anyways, I had
2007.
Yeah, 2007.
I was not able to drink legally at that age. Not to make you feel old or anything.
Yeah, I know I'm old. It's okay. I know I'm old. Say most old people have podcasts nowadays. It's okay. It's okay. We just go with it. We just go with it. But I remember I made it then, and the reason I made it was my friend. But he was like, okay, I'm an alcoholic. This dude's way more of an alcoholic. And he was looking for something to drink, and somebody had gifted him a couple of bottles of wine. And he's just like, I really don't like wine. I was like, well, dude, everybody likes wine. It's like, have you tried mulled wine? He's like, no, what the hell is that? And I was like, come on, man. Let's go through. I went through his covers. He had some cinnamon. He had some clove. What do you have? He had cinnamon, clove, and allspice.
Allspice.
Because he didn't have nutmeg. So I just took it, warmed it up a little bit, and it's you don't have to warm it up all that much. I cheated. I for the first glass, to make him try it, I just warmed it up in the microwave, which kind of cheating, kind of lame, but it works. And I mixed it in, gave it to him, and he took a sip, and he's like, "This is pretty good, actually." I was like, "Yeah, it's not bad. It really takes off." Because like with red wine, I really don't like red wines because they've got that maybe it's the dryness. Yeah,
there's a leathery feel to him for some of them, like the Merlots.
Yeah, it just
feels like you're licking leather on your tongue.
Yeah, just not pleasant in my opinion.
Dry.
Dry is a good definition for it. But it was just one of those. I don't really like it all that much, but that was a way that I could get down with it. Like I could dig it. And he had never had it before, so when he had tried it, he's like, "This is pretty good." And then it was one of those. It's like, "What are the tricks you got up your sleeve, old man?" I'm like, "Oh man, I'm not that much older than you are." But I taught him so many different drinks. You know how many people I've introduced to the Nutty Irishman? Like how simple that drink is. You know how many people I've introduced to that drink?
Why don't you tell our lovely listeners what a Nutty Irishman needs?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that, good sir, because if you're listening to this and I haven't told you about the Nutty Irishman is a fantastic drink. 2 different alcohols in it. One is Frangelico, which is a hazelnut liqueur, and the second one, I know, hazelnut liqueur, I've already made your stomach turn, but don't worry, it gets better. Next one is Bailey's Irish Cream. Now, you can go with any Irish cream that you want. I prefer Bailey's because if you're going to go with the stuff you know. So you mix it, and depending on how nutty you like it, you can either go 2 parts Bailey's, 1 part Frangelica, or you go 1 part Bailey's, 2 parts Frangelica. I prefer the 2 parts Bailey's, 1 part Frangelica. Most people argue with me and say that it's 2 parts Frangelica is the way you're supposed to go. If that's too much for you, which I assure you it's not too much for you, but just in case it is too much for you, just mix in some milk with it. Heavy cream, you can go there, or even eggnog. Eggnog might be a little bit too much, but you can do it. Mix all that in to just thin it out, and then just enjoy, have fun, and drink, because I'm telling you what, you're going to have a ton of fun with that drink.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Well, let's get into our last topic of the night. So, Christmas usually meant video games for me when I was a kid growing up. And while my father didn't play video games once with me, there were things like wrestling that he never let me win. I've never pinned my father. Maybe now I could pin my father, but that's mostly because his back bothers him, and I'd have to be, I have to sacrifice love and affection and all human decency to probably do something like that. But my opinion on this, and this is as a soon to be dad, soon to be rearing the child, father, get good, kid. When you're playing with your kids, like, you have to teach them what it feels like to lose. So I don't think pulling punches works, because my dad never pulled punches. But I'm curious, Cecil, are you do you pull your punches when you were first playing with your daughter, or did you you not pull any? Yeah.
So human psyche is a really fragile thing, and nobody likes to lose. And while you can breed a lot of determination with somebody about just having them continuously try, if you it's just like, okay, if you're not good at shooting a basketball, you go and you keep shooting a basketball, right? Until you get better at shooting a basketball. Well, yeah. If you have somebody that's so far superior in skill to you that no matter how much you practice, you can never actually beat, what's the point in actually practicing whatsoever?
You're stubborn and you keep trying.
Well, and that's,
I guess is what me.
Yeah, being stubborn is great, but I mean, you gotta. The way I look at it is you gotta take a look at development, growth, way to handle feelings, and not say that you let them win. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, okay, I can lift the back of a car. I have been able to for a very long time. I have really powerful legs, and I can grab a hold of it, and I can lift the thing up. Okay, that's great. If I grab those legs around you, I'm pretty confident that I will crack your sternum and separate those ribs. Now, if I get into wrestling with somebody, and they're really pushing, yeah, I can do that, but I don't, because if I do, that will hurt them. Same way with the psyche with a kid. You know, if you crush them so insurmountably, the positive that you get from it of, hey, I've taught them a lesson that they have to try harder. You're also teaching them that, like, there's no next, like, if it would be a lot different if there was, like, in a video game. Let's use this as an analogy. In a video game, you've got easy, medium, and hard. Basics.
And Dark Souls.
And Dark Souls. But we don't talk about that. So, like, when you're playing Mario Party with your kid, do you have to, like, crush them into oblivion? No. Can I make it so that I have 100 coins versus their 2 coins? Yeah, I can. But you don't. You just kind of peel it back a little bit. You only get 20 coins instead of 100 coins. You're still winning, but you're giving them kind of that carrot to go after. You give them that incentive to keep playing versus just continuously crushing. Now, all depending on the kid, of course. Some kids are just completely pig-headed and stubborn, and they're going to keep going and going and going, and they're going to become the best they can at whatever that is. But let's be honest, not every kid is like that. In fact, a majority of kids are not like that. A majority of kids, if it's not something that's easily accessible to them, they're not going to do. Like, for instance, playing a guitar. Playing a guitar is not easy. But if they find a fun way to do it, then all of a sudden they learn how to play a guitar. Doing football isn't easy. But if they find the right coach and the right teammates that complement them and they can enhance their skill, then it becomes fun and they continue doing it. You know, if you, I guess I was about to use an analogy. If you're a football team and you keep losing, do you keep playing? And then I think of the Eagles and I go, well, yeah, I guess you do.
Jets. A lot of different teams.
But I mean, but grown adults are significantly different than kids, and you gotta weigh it with do you want to teach them a lesson, and do you want them to have fun and enjoy themselves, and do you want to have fun and enjoy yourself? If the only way that you have fun and enjoy yourself is by going 150% and winning, that's fine. That's not me. I don't know. I like, the only thing that I'm ruthless at is the game Clue. And I still let people win.
So you don't pull your punches with Clue?
No, I don't pull my punches with Clue. However, I don't pull my punches because my family makes up rules like I don't start with any cards. Oh.
Because you still figure it out. All right.
And they get really upset when I still win and I have no cards.
Okay.
But that's the thing, is that's one thing that I've always been really, really good at. I've always been good at deductive reasoning. So when you look at something and you can put all the pieces together mentally and make it all add up, that's something really easy to me. It's troubleshooting. It's problem solving. It's something I've always been able to do. And that's why I've been so successful at what I do, because it's something that I've always been really, really good at. So the game of Clue is literally all deductive reasoning. That's all the game is. So when I play Clue, I usually start off with, hey, look, I'm going to lose for the first hour. After that, no holds bar. And it always ticks people off because I'll sit there and mark everything up on my sheet, and then I'll turn it over. And then we'll continue playing, but my sheet will be turned over. And then when they go and somebody finally says what it is, they'll say, well, I want to see your sheet. Be like, no, it's okay. No, I want to see your sheet. And then they see my sheet, and I see all three of them circled. They're like, how did you know that? Like 20 minutes ago. Like, I'm observant.
That's impressive. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Maybe my father knew that I was stubborn, or maybe he helped breed it into me, and or maybe he was, I'm sure he wasn't trying to kill me. I'm sure I was trying harder to kill him than he was trying to kill me. I do remember that. But it was good because, it made a problem really challenging. So there's the good and the bad of it. I guess you gotta see, like morale and stuff. Like my wife would love it if I just crushed my children in video games and they never wanted to play another day in their life. She just wanted to be so nerdy. But at the same time, I would say that problem solving that you're good at. Well, what do you do when you face an immovable object? You try to figure out how you're going to make that object movable. Like, this is a really challenging problem. How am I going to go at this? I need to go at this a different way. I can't just run at my dad's right leg again. I got to do something different. I got to figure out, like, shoulders, like learning how to throw someone off balance, wrestling, pinning and all this other stuff, and like watching my cousin tussle and who's older, who competes in this stuff, like figuring out like what it is. But I think it's important because I think in some ways, like, not pulling your punches does, in some people it breeds determination. I think it really does. I think it just depends on what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with your kids, maybe you can make that your kid to to have that determination to, I'm going to overcome this. And I think you can teach them a lesson like, yeah, you're going to lose. And sometimes it's going to, because even when it came to like things like sports, I've played games before as a kid where we didn't get a run on the board. And it was better for us because it taught us to be more observant and more attentive to certain things, because getting your butt completely handed to you sometimes makes you better. Marching band. I remember time and time again, freshman year, the band director would stop the band and he'd be up on this 3-story platform scaffolding thing on the parking lot, looking down at the entire formation, and never fails, every time he did it, we'd be right in the center of the field, and the first person he'd critique would be me for screwing something up. So like he go euphoniums, what the hell are you doing? He's like, Campbell, what are you doing? And he'd get on me about that. And then the assistant band director would have something to say while the band director's critiquing something else. So he'd critique me. And then my section leader would turn around and say, you suck. And what would I do? I would go home. I'd practice harder. I'd make sure I had my part memorized. I'd fix whatever I wasn't doing right, marching wise or music wise, and I know my stuff significantly better than I did the day before. And then we go to practice, and I remember he'd stop the band and he'd critique someone else, and I'd be like standing there at attention, and I'd just be like, yeah, screw you, man. Screw you. You got nothing to say because I know my crap. So forget you. So like, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but it's just like that kind of constant criticism, that constant losing. Like if you had to say like every time the band director stops the band and has to critique you, you've lost the game. Like that constant criticism, beating down, singling you out in front of all of your classmates, in front of everyone, that bred in me this determination to get the band director to shut the heck up when it came to me. Like, make him be mad about someone else. That's something that I can't control. The flute's not doing a good job, but I'm going to make sure he's got nothing to say about me or my section. When I became a leader, I wanted to make sure the people in my section practiced or understood what they needed to do out there when I became a section leader, because that determination made me want to do better.
So my only curiosity, so there would literally be somebody that was on the management there that would just tell you suck, or would that other students?
No, he was a student. He was a senior. And the funny thing is that he was off on some vacation. So the freshmen came in a week before. So you had 2 weeks of marching band camp. The first week was for the freshmen. So I was like, hey, you're freshmen. Let's teach you marching. Let's teach you fundamentals of marching. Let's teach you formation. Let's teach you commands. Let's get you being able to play a scale while you're moving. Let's teach you how we play stuff in the stands. Let's teach you the basics. So then on week 2, when we start practicing the show that we're going to do for the year, and checking your ability to handle playing like stand tunes and stuff with all the other people, the juniors, the sophomores, and the seniors who know their crap, we don't have to make them sit there and go, oh my God, the freshmen don't know their crap again. So they would do 2 weeks of it. So he wasn't there for that first week, but this other girl stepped up and was section leader. She was there that week. And then she was there the following week. And he didn't show up until day 1 of practice when school started. So this new guy comes in trying to lead me, and I didn't like him. I listened to the girl, and he was horrible, because that's what he literally would say. He would say, you suck. He wouldn't be like, all right, Sean, like, let me show, this is what you're doing wrong. Here's how you can fix it. Or like, he wouldn't be like focusing on what I'm doing. I would get more help from her during those moments than I would from him. So it got to a point where I literally just told him, I said, don't say crap to me. And he was like, I'm your section leader. And I'd be like, no, you're not. And we get in fights about it. I think he grabbed me once and he was going to get physical with me. And I just pushed him off of me, and I told him, I said, I'm not going to listen to you. Like, I don't care. And he and I just butted heads for the rest of the year.
I was about to say that guy wasn't being constructive or wasn't pushing you in a good manner. He was bullying you.
He was. And that's why I never listened to him. Like, the band director told me, he says, Sean, you got this wrong. He's like, get it right. Like, he would tell me what I messed up on. He wouldn't be like, this is how you play your part, because he doesn't have the time to do that. He has other sections to move on to. The assistant band director would provide a little more detail, and then he would turn around and tell me I suck. And then the second time it would happen, the girl who was acting section leader during my first week would be like, hey, yeah, just work on, it's your toes. Your toes need to be higher. Or like, you're not strides a little too short. Or yeah, you need to hold that note. Like, you need to do this, that. Like, you're sounding a little wobbly, so you need to focus on keeping this like stable. Like, you need to glide more. And she would like work with me on that stuff, like during water breaks and stuff. So she was my section leader. The other guy was just a dick. He's like, oh yeah, I could be section leader. And she literally, like, I remember this, like, he was like being a dick about it, and I was being stubborn and be like, I ain't listening to you. Like, I would stand there and he'd be like, Sean, you need to get in formation. Sean, get in formation. And then she'd be like, Sean, get in formation. And I'd be like, oh, sure. Yeah. Pop right to it. If I was making a cake during that time, and this was like the key, like it was like 3 hours into making this cake, and if I skipped this one step, the whole 3 hours would have been wasted. And she told me to get into formation, I would have been like, oh yeah, sure. Just to show him that I don't give a flip what he has to say for the last 3 hours. I only listened to her. And he got real pissed off about it once. And she told him, she says, you're a crappy leader, and he's not going to listen to you because you're a crappy leader. And I couldn't stop smiling at that. But yeah, like, I don't know, that kind of stuff, like, I don't know, like, that's what you get in life. Like, you get crappy leaders, like, you've worked for different companies, like, and you'll get people who come in and who, I remember, here's a real life example. I was doing a bridge inspection in New Orleans. And so I had to fly out there, and I had to be there on Sunday, met up with one of my coworkers who I've never worked with before. He was from a different office. And Monday we started 10-hour days, Monday through Thursday, doing these inspections. He was kind of teaching me the ropes, teaching me some stuff that I didn't know already, because the next week there was a newbie coming in, and I had to lead and teach and run that inspection. So Friday, I'm typing up notes. Saturday, I have a fun day. And then Sunday, I go pick up the newbie from the airport, and we get started. Monday, we get rained out. We only got maybe 30 minutes of an inspection before the rain and lightning had us pulling away for cover. And then the storms got so bad that we had to roll in, and it takes an hour to get out there and an hour to get back because the inspection boat's so dang slow. The second day, I got 2 hours of inspection done, and then the storm's rolling through. We got to go back in. So I'm expected to get this thing further along than I think I'm going to get, and I still got more work to do. There's another week that was supposed to come in behind me. Nope. Wednesday, finished the inspection. I text my boss. I told her, we got this far, we still have this left to do. I think you're going to have to come out here as originally planned for the second week, or for next week. She replies back, we don't have the boat next week. It needs to get done. And I'm like, I remember standing there and thinking, I've not seen my wife for over 7 days now. I've been working so much, I barely get to talk to her because of the time zone difference. And late nights, like, because it's the 10, 12-hour days out there. Like, today was a 12-hour day, and like getting back, and it's like I can only work until the light's there. And it's just like all this crap, and it's just like, this is just a really rough week. And it's like part of there's this little tiny voice in my head says, tell her hell no. Tell her hell no. You ain't going to do that. You ain't going to do it. And then, but the rest of me, like all this determination, all this hard work, and knowing like sometimes it's Dark Souls and you got no point. You got nothing else you can do about that difficulty level except barrel on through. And that's determination. And I think that determination helped me say in that moment, okay, I'm going to go get it done. And it's like, this is this big problem. I got to do all of this crap in one day. Because if I don't do all of this crap in one day, I can do Friday, and then guess what happens? I don't get to fly back until maybe Sunday, because there's not another flight that'll get me back without a 23-hour layover. And I looked it up on Saturday. If I flew back on Saturday, I would have a 23-hour layover. So I'd have to find a way to extend my stay at the hotel. I'd have to go buy another plane ticket. I'd have to do all of this. I'd have to go sit. If I flew on Saturday, I'd have to go sit in an airport for 20-something hours until the next plane came to take me back for a 3-hour flight. Because they were going to fly me north to I think Missouri or something like that, and then fly me back. But there was a 23-hour layover in Missouri. So and I'm just thinking about that, and my wife misses me and I miss her, and it's just it's just going to cause tension and stuff. And so I was just I've got this big problem. How am I going to handle this? How am I going to get all of this stuff inspected, get all the details and information that we need to do our job? And it seems like an insurmountable task. This is a really challenging task. And I figured out a way to pull it off by doing only a 15-hour day. So pulling your punches.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do. That has nothing. What you just described there has all to do with crappy work situations, understaffing, poor planning. That has nothing to do with pulling your punches. That has nothing to do with, determination. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah,
but
that's what I think.
But pulling
your punches.
But pulling your punches is that would be like saying that would be like saying somebody had an option there of making a difficulty level. You made a cognitive choice that your choice was, I want to get home to see my wife. I don't want to have to spend another however long here. I don't want to spend this much time on a plane. You made a cognitive choice that you wanted to do this over doing that. That's nothing to do with pulling punches or skill level or anything of the sorts. Those are significant those are significant variables that were outside of your control.
Yeah, they were, but it was when things got tough. You don't quit the game. You don't walk away. You don't. I could have walked away.
But here's the big difference, though. You weren't beaten.
I was worn down pretty much.
But you weren't beaten, and that's the difference between pulling your punches and not.
And maybe I wasn't beaten because someone didn't pull punches in other aspects of my life.
I can definitely respect that.
That's kind of where I'm getting at. I think you have a good point. A son versus a daughter. I think I'd pull my punches a little more on my daughter because, women are, emotions. That's something they're more sensitive and think that. Maybe not your wife.
No, I
know my wife. My wife she's more emotional, feeling process, that how things make you feel. It's about feelings instead. Me, it's when she comes home and she's had a crappy day, my mind goes problem solving. How to fix this problem? How to fix this? Oh, your coworker was being a dick today. Well, this is what you can do next time. This is your boss. You need your, you don't understand something. Well, you should talk to your boss. This is how you should approach that. Blah blah blah. She just wants to tell me about how she feels about her day, and I'm processing it as, how can we fix this so tomorrow's better? Women are more in tune with emotional, how does it make you feel, and men are more solutions, problem solving.
I respectfully disagree with you.
Okay.
I don't think that's in any way, shape or form a male versus female trait. But I can definitely see from especially what you're describing about how your dad wouldn't let you win in wrestling and your standpoint on tough love, I can definitely see where that type of attitude would come from. It's fairly obvious, and that's just a difference in opinion between the two of you, between us. And
yeah,
I mean, it's fine. It doesn't. We don't have to agree on everything. Technically, we don't have to agree on anything. And that's the great part. That's the best part about things is that.
Yeah,
but just because we don't agree doesn't mean that we can't civilly talk about something, and that's the difference between an argument and a discussion.
Yes.
Like one of the big things, especially in the G.N.A. Discord, that you'll always see, and I've had plenty of people get pissed off at me for it, is when a discussion crosses that line of being a discussion to going to a full-on argument. And I distinguish between the two because the argument is you can have an argument and it be civil. But what I'm referring to is when it becomes, where
screw you, man, you're a piece of crap.
Well, so when it shifts from you're discussing 2 points to becoming personal attacks. I'm not going to name any names because that's not fair.
Look. It's fine. You can name me. Okay, I'll get over it.
I've normally what I do, and I do this, 9 times out of 10, if there's a discussion going on, I let it go. And when things start to get heated, I continue to let it go. The only time that I ever step in is when people start doing personal attacks because the G.N.A., while we're a bunch of drunkards and we will argue about anything, we also want you to feel safe. We don't want you to feel like this is a place that you're going to be demeaned or crapped on because of whatever your opinion is. I mean, yeah, you may have to defend your opinion, and that's perfectly fine. If you I don't care. You come in and saying Dark Souls are the worst games ever. Okay, well, if somebody thinks that Dark Souls are the best game ever, you may have a discussion on your hands. Now, if you're able to talk about that and say, well, the difficulty level, this, that, and you may have conflicting points or conflicting views on the same point, but at the end of the day, it's, you either A, say, well, look, we disagree. That's okay. We just disagree. Or you don't. But when it starts to get into the point of, well, you're stupid or mocking or personal attacks in any way, shape, or form, that's where I step in and I say, hey, now we got to calm down, guys, because now it's going from here's my reasoning behind this, here's my discussion point, to I'm just attacking you because I have nothing else left to do. I have no other argument left. And that's really that's the point of a difference in opinion. I mean, whether I think you should pull your punches and you don't think you should pull your punches, we both have valid points. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and that is the thing. I see where you're coming with kids. Like, if my kid wasn't, if my kid was more like my wife, I think I should pull my punches.
Yeah.
If my kid is more like me, I wouldn't.
Beat the crap out of him. Maliciously, around the head and shoulders.
Because it's like, it's like if you're stubborn, then you're going to keep trying and trying and trying and trying. If you're not as stubborn, then it's like it's teaching, it's making it, pulling the punch to I think what you were talking about is not pulling the punch completely, but just, making it just not as hard.
Yeah.
Instead of being,
I think you nailed it on the head. I think it's read the room. Basically, it's a, and I mean, in my mind, and this is just, I think, a difference in terminology. When I think pull punch, if you're pulling the punch at all, if you're not giving your 100%, then you're pulling a punch. And that's just the way I've always taught. But I think you've nailed it on the head. I think it's a read the room type of thing, because you're absolutely right. If it's somebody like your wife, then they're quite possibly more emotional and more sensitive to, things of that nature. And they may be turned off from, oh God, well, you know what? Every time I played Dad in wiffle ball, he just crushes me every single time. Why am I going to play wiffle ball? I don't play wiffle ball with anybody else because nobody else likes to play wiffle ball. Why am I going to play wiffle ball? Versus, in a different situation, he could go, well, geez, you know what? He keeps kicking the crap out of me. I'm going to beat Dad one of these days. And he just keeps playing wiffle ball until he finally beats you. Now we go the flip side of that whole thing. you pull the punch a little bit, or not necessarily let them win, but you don't necessarily crush them as insurmountably, but you show that the game can be fun versus it being specifically on win or lose. You show the game can be fun. All of a sudden, they're sitting there going, well, you know what? I didn't beat Dad, but maybe I can get my friends together. We can practice. Then I can come back and kick the crap out of them. And then
so you're telling me it's bad to dunk on a 2-year-old?
No. Absolutely 100% dunk on a 2-year-old. In fact, when you dunk, you got to do this. Every single time. And that is not bullying. That is teaching.
And then as a victory celebration, you go and you F their mother.
Yes. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. As a victory, the victory thing, victory dance. No, I think we both got valid points, because I can 100% think of times in my life where I looked at something and I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to win at this. I'm going to beat this. One of the things I can vividly remember was actually playing basketball. I shoot bricks. 100% shoot bricks. Never been able to shoot anything in my life. Like, can't do a layup. I can't play basketball. You would think being 6.5 feet tall that basketball would just come naturally to me. No.
It doesn't.
That is a stereotype. Just because you're tall does not mean you're good at basketball. So, one year I said, you know what? I'm going to get better at basketball. I am going to figure this out. I'm going to get better. So I sat there for, every single gym class. If there was a basketball around, I would literally sit there. I would stand in different spots. I would find one specific cinder block on the wall, and I would just sit there and I would shoot. And I'd stand in a different spot and I'd shoot and I'd shoot and I'd shoot until I kept hitting it 100% of the time. Then I'd move spots and hit that same spot 100% of the times. Move another spot, hit that 100% of the times. To the point of that cinder block on that wall, the paint was coming off of it. That's how many times I hit it with that basketball. And like it was literally, my gym teacher saw me doing this and said, hey, you're getting bonus credit for that. I said, for what? Like, for practicing so much. I said, I'm just trying to hit that cinder block. He's like, yeah, but you keep practicing. You're trying. You're getting bonus points for that. I'm like, cool. So by the end of that year, we start playing basketball. I still can't throw. I still shoot bricks. Still can't make a basket, even though I practiced all that time. So at the end of the day, I just said, you know what? Basketball is just not for me. But I tried. And the stubbornness in me just made it so that I kept trying and kept trying. Even though I failed, still can't play basketball to this day. Still can't shoot a basket. But the stubbornness in me kept me going. And I mean, even after I kept trying and I still failed, I kept trying, still failed, kept trying, still failed. I still at the end of the day turned around and said, you know what? I still didn't do it, but I tried. I gave it my best. And I can look myself in the mirror and say, I did everything I could. Basketball is just not for me. So I can definitely 100% think of a time where the stubbornness in me, and people telling me, I mean, I had everybody around me telling me that I sucked, except for the gym teacher. He was pretty cool, even though I didn't really like him all that much. But he was still pretty cool. He wasn't really down on me. But everybody else was, you suck, you blah, 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 blah. Even through all that, still kept going. And it was more of I had no delusions that I was going to be some basketball star. I had no delusions that I was even going to be making a basket by the end of that year. But I just said, you know what? I'm going to do this because I want to be able to look myself in the mirror and say, I did it. I did the best I could, and this is the outcome. Good, bad, or indifferent. This is what happened. I can put a nail in that coffin and lay that one to bed. Also, on the flip side, I can give the opposite side of that, where I would have never really played video games if it wasn't for people pulling their punches. And I can tell you that there are several people that I've played video games with that would probably not be playing video games if I hadn't pulled my punches when playing with them. I'll give you a great for instance. You know the game Mortal Kombat, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, it came out for the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis forever ago. In case anybody's curious, the blood code for Sega Genesis is ABACABB. Why I know that, I don't know, but I'm always going to remember that for the rest of my life. However, I used to play Mortal Kombat all the time. In the arcades, at my house. I was damn good at that original Mortal Kombat game. I used to have friends over all the time, and we would play Mortal Kombat. I would lose constantly. I didn't lose I didn't lose because I couldn't win. I lost because I was in the arcade, and I know that every time that I lost, I felt that kind of like crushing defeat of, man, I can't believe that. And I went back and I would continue playing. And I know that I'm super stubborn, but I know that if I didn't get access to playing other people who were not as good as me, I would never have played it. I would have never continued playing. And for a lot of my friends, they didn't have access to video games like I did. Video games was a big part of my life growing up. So I know that if I'm the only person that they got to play against, and I know if I was the only person I had to play against and I was at my level of play, then I would have probably never played Mortal Kombat again, because I would have been like, there's no point in me trying because I can't even get a kick in, let alone get enough time to practice moves and really work out here. So I used to just, I would pull my punches. I would lose a match, lose a round, lose a match, tell them how to do the finishing move at the end of it. That should probably tip them off when they would win. I'd say, hey, do this. And all of a sudden they'd tear my head off and they'd be like, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, isn't that awesome? How do you know that? I've done it a couple times. You should have figured that out. Now, of course, it was the bait thing, because once I got them, once they started playing and they started getting the hang of it, then I started showing them how I could actually play the game with my feet, and then I'd beat them with my feet. And then we never played Mortal Kombat again.
Ah, yes, of course. Well, yeah, that's some good advice.
I think I think you got a nail on the head, though, man. I think reading the room is the best way to do it. See what it is. I mean, if you're playing baseball or something, or you're teaching baseball and you're really rough on them, and they just like, hey, you want to go play baseball? No, I don't want to play baseball anymore. Maybe that's a sign that you're a little bit too rough there, and maybe next activity you pull the punches a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely good advice. And ladies and gentlemen, I know that we talk about, God, what have we talked about? We've talked about video games. We've talked about story time with Cecil. We've done drinking. We've had people black out on the show or pass out, or I think I've fallen asleep on the show before, maybe. I don't know. There's a recording of me snoring, and I don't remember what that one was from. That might have been from an Extra Life stream. But, we've done a lot on this show. We've done stuff that's serious. We've done stuff that's fun. We've played games. Cecil's read some questionable things on an episode that should probably burn, never be listened to ever again. Never. Never ever. But I think I've always wanted people to walk away entertained, sometimes a little more informed. But the community that we've helped build around this show has been something that I've always tried to help nurture and to help grow. And I'd have to say that for all of you guys who listen, who have come on this show, or to continue to download and listen to this show, I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And I hope that these little discussions that we have on this show have entertained you. I hope that in some cases they've informed you, made you think about something a little bit differently in a better light. I hope that since this is my last episode as an official member of the show, I hope Cecil will forgive me and give me a little grace on this. And I say, I hope the good Lord blesses you and watches over you. And I will pray for Cecil and this show to continue. And I'll pray that the people who come and find this show find some enjoyment, I know funny podcasts during my times of difficulty and challenges have been enlightening and brightening to my day. And for anyone who listens to this show to get the kicks out of it, the laughs out of it, or some enjoyment, or just a break from a crappy day, I hope that this show continues to be that source. And I hope that your life continues to get better. You should get better at games. You get good, kid. I hope that you find some people, if you're looking for some people to hang out with, to talk with, to play with. And I hope that you can help to continue to support G.N.A. podcast. And with that said, Cecil, where can the good people find you?
You can find me on Cecil vs. Games on Twitter, Cecil Xavier everywhere else. Facebook, Meta, Ustream, Twitch, pretty much everywhere. Discord. I'm in so many Discords. I'm in Guildeds. I'm all over the place. If I'm not someplace, let me know. I'll go there too.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am your once and final host, Blue Shark 45. You can find me on Twitter at Blue Shark 45. You can still find me and will continue to be able to find me on the G.N.A. Discord. I've been downgraded from green shirt to red shirt, so that means that the Borg attack, I'm probably going to die.
True story.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. If a stormtrooper walks into the room, I'm going to get hit. They're not going to miss. They're going to hit their target because, red shirts, we just can't survive. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is the G.N.A. podcast. If you enjoy the G.N.A. podcast, we would love it if you would rate, review, subscribe. Reviews on iTunes help other people like yourself, kind of like yourself. Maybe not exactly like yourself, completely different yourself. It helps people find this show. We would love it if you would tell us the 1-star review and tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. We'd love a 5-star review. We've loved somewhere in between. We would love it if you just review this show. Please, we need more reviews because it helps other people find this show. You can find us also on many other of your favorite podcast delivery services, such as Google Play, Spotify, Spreaker, MyTuner, Your Listen. Just about anywhere else. And if we're not on there and you happen to listen to us someplace else like YouTube, where you can also like, subscribe, you can leave comments about the show, you can tell us like, hey, I'd love it if you would upload to this, and we will get on that. Things that would help to continue to sustain this show, because we're currently on life support, would be emails. Emails would breathe a life and vigor into us. I know I'm asking so much because who emails these days? I mean, maybe, you know what? If I put a P.O. box up for this darn show, I bet you we would get an email. But emails, G.N.A. podcast at G.N.A. in your DNA.1. Send us questions, send us comments. As Cecil likes to say, send us death threats. We'd love to get an email from you. I'd like to stop getting emails from people telling us like, hey, I saw your website and it's, I think it could be so much better. Please buy my services. You can find us on Twitter at G.N.A. podcast, where if you go to the pinned tweet, you can join our Discord server. You can find us on Facebook. Just look up G.N.A. podcast. You can also help support this show. Do you want to know how you can support the show? Do you buy video games? Ladies and gentlemen, then boy, do I have a website that you should check out, because only the best people shop at this site, and that site is humblebundle.com. Now, Humble Bundle is really great because Humble Bundle allows you to go in and buy games at fabulous prices, but you can determine where that money goes. Maybe that game developer wanted to support a certain charity, or maybe Humble Bundle that month is supporting a particular charity like Extra Life. You can determine where the money that you use to buy the game. I'm not talking like, oh, I got to drop $40 on a game and then $1.99 to help out kids with cancer. No. That $40, part of that $40 can help support kids with cancer. Or you can be like, screw the kids with cancer, because there's something wrong with you, maybe? I don't know. You can slide that cancer support bar all the way to 0, and you can give more money to the developer. But what you should do is any of these great sales, links that you come across on the internet for like game packages where you can get the last few Biohazard games at a decent price of maybe like $29.99. You just need to add to the end of that link that you find on the internet, partner equals GNApodcast.com, to help them let them know that we sent you there. And go scroll all the way to the bottom, and where it says support G.N.A podcast, just take that slider, slide it all the way to 0. We don't want your money. We want none of that. We want you to just let them know that we sent you there by putting partner equals G.N.A podcast at the end of any Humble Bundle link. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have a website. Our website is GNApodcast.com. You can go on there. You can find some of our episodes. We've got some photos in there. We got a few other little cool gems on there. You should check it out. You should make sure you favorite it, that thing where you put the little star or bookmarks, whatever your web browser is. I think if you're using stars, you're probably using Internet Explorer. And if you are, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to some other web browser, because you are doing the internet wrong. You really should focus on something else. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am thrilled to be here. I am thrilled to have been talking to you for the past 100 something odd episodes that I've been on and doing. And Cecil, getting thrown into this, what was that called? Teams, or I don't remember the darn messaging server, GroupMe, Groupon, I don't flipping remember. Whatever it was.
Oh, God, yeah.
Whatever that messaging thing was that Gravemind threw me into. I'm so glad he did that. I'm so glad that you said one day you needed help, and I'm so glad to have volunteered and been like, hey, I'd like to do that, because this has been a lot of fun. I've moved up in the world. I have a better laptop. I've moved up from a headset to an actual recording microphone. I've learned how to edit podcasts. I've learned how to edit my own audio. I've learned how to stitch those podcasts together. I've written some funny jokes, some extremely lame jokes, and some really political jokes that have just gotten completely muted out by you because I've pushed the line too far. It has been a blast. And I look forward to continuing to hear this show on the airwaves, and I look forward to coming back as a guest and just passing off my audio to you to completely edit, because I'm lazy.
Well, like I've always said to everybody and anybody, G.N.A is a open podcast. We love to have people on, and anybody can come on. We don't care who you are, where you come from, or even what language you speak. Hell, if we can figure out how to translate you, we'll translate you. So you'll always be welcome back anytime you want. So don't fret. Don't think that there's any animosity whatsoever. There is not. So I hope you enjoy your time with your wife, your child, and maybe someday, way on down the line, you can do exactly what Bot and I did. You can have a daddy-son podcast and have it sent out there where they pull a knife on you and you're terrified for your life.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Maybe not the knife thing, but that would be a lot of fun. But thank you very much, Cecil.
Man, thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here. And I hope you have a great night, man. I hope you have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too. And all of you that are listening, have a great week.